Around you, you hear screams. Ursakka, moving to grab their weapons to defend their homeland, are also slain. Their souls pulled and sucked into these bee hybrids as all of them, including the one with all of our soul, burst in the direction of the heart of the Darkwood.
At this point, there's a lot of pandemonium happening with the Ursakka, and you actually see Grenlick come from behind a tree, and his claws are completely covered in bug guts. And he looks around. Where is Freda? What do we do?
As she approaches Olivar's wooden husk, you can see that she is barely keeping it together.
Yeah.
What good? What good was it? All that blood. All that fighting. And now he's a stump.
We don't know what's happening. Stop jumping to conclusions.
Can it be reversed?
Yes, I can. But only if we have his soul.
If we were to retrieve his soul, how would we return it here? Like, in what sort of vessel could we carry such a thing?
That I don't know. You could put it in a ruby, if you had one of those.
Otto, he puts his hand on Oliver, looks at the flock of Ramhidi in the house area. We have to kill the wasps. We have to get their souls back. And Otto walks out.
I am not staying here. And Freda says, Drek!
I think we should go.
Yes,
I'm gonna lose the daylight to track them if we don't go.
Can't ask you to put yourselves in danger, but I must.
Olivar's been the only one who seems to have any idea why we're here, what's going on.
I will do my best as you are gone to search the dreamscape for more information, but as I said, it appears the gods themselves are in chaos.
But the only thing you really have to go on is the direction that they flew and the sound that they make. Because when these bees fly, it sounds like a buzzsaw. It's a as it's flying away.
As you continue in the direction that KoKo is leading you all, that buzzing sound, already loud from the distance you are, increases as you get closer and closer until there's a slight clearing. There is a large man-shaped tree that seems to be laying on the ground. And one of the first things you notice is the center of its chest is covered in that black fungal corruption that you saw on the trees.
And there's something ripping it apart and feasting on the inside.
Pulling bits of this tree and off with a crack. And there are little wisps of blue and green energy that sort of dissipate into nothingness as it chomps on this creature.
The creature laying on the ground is clearly an ant. The large creature that's kind of hulking over the top of it, it looks like at one point it was a frost giant, but has clearly died. Out of this tree bursts one of those bees.
And that muffled sound becomes no longer muffled.
And when one sprouts out,
Why would you say things like that?
wow.
rip out of the trees as well.
Do you think that big guy is mean or nice?
He was just eating a tree, and he looks like he's already dead, so I'm guessing he's not nice.
So you sink an arrow into this thing's chest, and that definitely gets its attention. And not only does the flesh part kind of quiver a little bit, but you notice that hard mud carapace starts to bend and crack open.
Kjack, what are you thinking? Big guy or the wasps?
Protecting KoKo.
Yeah, that's probably a good place to start. All right, you take the right side, I'll take the left. And he takes off, and yeah, Cristobal, you basically just feel him like right past you, and then rush, dash straight up, and as Val is running, you just hear, and just a big old cone of ice breath all over this bee.
Drek moves next to KoKo.
Nice.
And begins waving at the big band. Go, hey, I'm over here.
It will turn back over its shoulder and go.
Oh no, I don't like that.
When it does that, a second tusk emerges
How?
further back.
We are but level 4.
Real bad, kids.
That one, when it gets to that point, leans forward, its jaw falls off, and it vomits forth a pile of larvae.
She's gonna take out her shield. She's gonna go stomp, stomp, thunk. Stomp, stomp, thunk. Everybody, stomp, stomp, thunk. Giant muddy tree, get the F away from me. Big giant frosty wasps, go on now, you get lost.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Pick on someone your own size.
Okay, so I'd like to speak. I'd like to cast Speak with Animals to that wasp. What do you want?
Kill.
I'm going to dive into a hole, dig a hole, and I'm going to pop up behind that wasp.
This little owl digs into the ground, and you honestly all for a moment think that she's just fleeing. And sorry, he is just fleeing and leaving all of you behind. But then, erupting out of the earth, this owl flings itself forward at this bee, barely clutching onto the bottom of the bee, and then pulling out this tiny little leaf-bladed dagger, and then stabbing it profusely into the underbelly of this creature. Wow. And it tries to fly away, and then dies with it being continually stabbed by
Otto. As you're there stabbing it, you see Drek go, and you also notice that a green and bluish wisp dissipates into the ether.
Val is going to use his movement to curve around the prone one, and right where he was standing a moment ago, a silvery, not quite corporeal version of Val appears. This thing draws its sword, and with a fancy flourish to match yours, I'll even say like it kind of nods at you.
Drek gets a nice glancing blow on this husk, and you can see it starting to tear and break apart at the seams.
You. I want you.
You focus in on its chest, and when it looks over at you, you bring your arrow up and you sink it right into its head. Its head starts to split open, and then its chest cavity, and then its abdomen, and then it erupts with necrotic energy.
Oh, that's gross.
So it is quite dead, right?
Okay, this is guiding bolt.
You shoot this bolt into it. The radiant energy wraps around it, and you can see right where all the radiant energy kind of absorbs into its chest. That's where it starts to bubble and boil, and you can see its chest starting to expand outward, almost like a balloon inside of its skin. So
Happy moon stand.
Oh, that was so rude. Sorry, Drek.
He's a big boy.
I'm gonna
He
use
looks at
my
KoKo.
bow.
Do it.
you pop the bubble with your arrow, and instead of the bubble just being a little pop, it erupts, and bits of larva and flesh and bone and carapace go raining down in a 10-foot arc. Remember how I said that there were those little bits of flesh that come off of it?
Oh no.
And they try to wriggle inside of you when it hits you? Well, one of those gets inside your body.
Oh my god.
And as you look down, you can see that part of your flesh is already starting to decay. As if you're rotting from the inside out. The bees get to go. The stinger impales Cristobal. You see him jerk backwards, and you actually, Val, you see this. His soul leaves his body and goes into this bee as his body drops to the ground.
No!
He appears to be quite dead.
And seeing Cristobal go down.
Not only do you see him go down, but you see that blue light pour out of his body and go into the body of this bee.
Yeah, so I'm gonna attack the bee that stole his soul.
So you skewer this thing straight in its abdomen, and it wheels sideways, and it tries to fly away, and it loses steam and crumples to the ground right next to Cristobal's body, actually, with a thwomp. And then you immediately see Cristobal's little blue wisp of a soul start to leak out of its body.
Is Cristobal about to die?
You might.
No, so I have the gem in my hand,
Right.
and the light is leaving the bee. I'm going to, with one hand, put it on Cristobal's chest,
Okay.
and the other hand put my my sapphire up with the intention of using both the gem and myself as a conduit
Okay.
to place the soul back inside Cristobal.
Without even knowing, Val is gonna pull out the skull and just hope it works, and basically hold it there.
Otto places their hand on the skull as you pull it out, and a little 2 arcs of energy, one purple and one green arc out of the eyes into her hand, into their hand,
So stressful.
traveling through their body.
Okay.
You plunge the gem into Cristobal's spirit. You call upon the skull. You are willing to sacrifice quite a bit to make all of this happen. And the skull itself breaks the connection, almost as if the skull is deciding on your behalf that it's not going to let it happen. And that's when you look down at Cristobal's body and you can see his chest fluttering, and you can see the reflection of his mirror poking out from beneath his shirt. And Cristobal's spirit floats up and then zips down into the mirror and gets absorbed.
I think that's a great place to end it.
Is it?
I think it is. Yeah. I think that's a great place.